Gravity is the fundamental force that holds us to the Earth and binds the universe together. Yet we still don't fully understand it. Scientists have been trying to unlock the secrets and defy gravity for decades now, but without success. If the dream of gravity control ever came true, it would revolutionize the world and could send us to the stars.
Gravity, the dark energy field effect. December 15, 2015.
Pairs of quantum particles respond to mass. With matter and antimatter, pairs are briefly orienting themselves in relation to that mass. Matter is attracted to the positive mass of a planet or a star, while antimatter is repelled by it. This creates a halo of anti-gravity dark energy around every mass in the universe.
Gravity, the dark energy field effect. Gravity is caused by the electromagnetic energy inherent in all matter. Gravity is pushing on the dark energy field, where space, you could say space is not just empty nothingness, it's an energy field, a dark energy field, and it has an effect. It's called a dark energy field effect. This is gravity, as the electromagnetic radiation of all matter repels space/dark energy. Space/dark energy pushes back. Where there is a path of least resistance in the distortion of matter, matter will appear to have an attraction towards itself, but it's space/dark energy pushing matter together because of matter's electromagnetic distortion. So, what is electromagnetic distortion? Well, for real quick answer, the universe is a binary system. That is to say that electric and magnetic energy are each representative of a binary system. Energy/matter and dark energy/space, their interaction is the foundation of all. Yes, as far as being able to manipulate gravity, yes we can manipulate gravity and explore beyond our imaginations. It is called the microwave, and it's the key to space travel and teleportation and possibly even time travel. In the microwave oven is a device called
Magnetron.
A magnetron, a magnetic oscillation device that can fine-tune the electromagnetic harmonics of gravity. With this magnetron you can build a spaceship that can create its own gravity and get off the surface of the planet very easily. You can even refine this technology to move faster than light and even teleport, all with the use of the magnetic field and its manipulation.
Pairs of quantum particles respond to mass. With matter and antimatter, pairs are briefly orienting themselves in relation to that mass. Matter is attracted to the positive mass of a planet or a star, while antimatter is repelled by it. This creates a halo of anti-gravity dark energy around every mass in the universe.
The white background represents the dark energy field. The pulsing represents the electromagnetic distortion around all matter, like two atoms. The electromagnetic distortion pushes dark energy away from matter on a gradient and makes all matter appear to have an attraction towards itself. Gravity can be defined as the electromagnetic force that matter exerts on the universe on dark energy that causes a dark energy field effect, or gravity. You can scale this up from atoms all the way to planets and suns and even black holes. Anything that creates gravity is actually not pulling things into itself like a gravity well. More, it is pushing dark energy away, and in doing so, dark energy is pushing harder on the side with the least distortion. As the fields touch each other, it creates a path of least resistance, and the two objects are forced together by the stronger dark energy field on the side with less distortion, giving matter an attraction towards itself. It's dark energy that causes an attraction of matter towards itself that creates gravity.
He says the reason how the UFOs are able to go so fast is that like he said that there's an engine on a UFO that opens up a void in space.
Magnetron.
And it's almost like he said the UFO is not that it's being thrust, but it's falling into itself.
And that's exactly how the craft works. It creates a distortion right in front of it, and the craft falls forward.
What makes it fly?
Well, that's difficult to explain, sir. The power plant doesn't exert force against gravity so much as take inertia out of the equation. Even pilots are immune to ordinary G-forces.
I'll just accept the fact that it flies.
Magnetron.
The magnetron is called a cross-field device in the industry because both magnetic and electric fields are employed in its operation, and they are produced in perpendicular directions so that they cross. The applied magnetic field is constant and applied along the axis of the circular device illustrated. The power to the device is applied to the center cathode, which is heated to supply energetic electrons, which would, in the absence of the magnetic field, tend to move radially outward to the ring anode which surrounds it. Electrons are released at the center hot cathode by the process of thermionic emission and have an accelerating field which moves them outward toward the anode. The axial magnetic field exerts a magnetic force on these charges which is perpendicular to their initially radial motion, and they tend to be swept around the circle. In this way, work is done on the charges, and therefore energy from the power supply is given to them. As these electrons sweep toward a point where there is excess negative charge, that charge tends to be pushed back around the cavity, imparting energy to the oscillation at the natural frequency of the cavity. This driven oscillation of the charges around the cavities leads to radiation of electromagnetic waves, the output of the magnetron.
Until they saw one of the unidentified objects up close.
Did he give you size, color, texture?
It was basically a cube inside a sphere where the points of the cube were touching outside of the sphere.
EM drive is appropriately named. Electromagnetic energy of matter is the cause of gravity. This drive uses the exact same principle and creates essentially gravity for the drive to fall into.
And that's exactly how the craft works. It creates a distortion right in front of it, and the craft falls forward.
It really is simple, and for space travel you could envision these drives covering the entire surface of a vessel and manipulating the magnetic forces into one single magnetic field, where the vessel will no longer be affected by its mass or inertia. And with zero or low mass interaction, a large heavy spaceship could be flung around the universe like a piece of confetti, creating its own wind.
So I used to live in Las Vegas, and I had a neighbor who was some drunk former military guy. And one day we were talking about just nothing, and he had told me that he used to work out of Area 51. And so I was like, oh yeah, have you seen the aliens? What do they look like? Blah, 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 yada, yada. And he would never, ever tell me. Nothing. You couldn't pry anything out of him. But one night, we had a power outage, and like the whole neighborhood was black. You couldn't see anything. So the night sky was like really dark. You could see like a lot of the stars because there was no outside light to drown out the stars. And he was real stinking drunk. I remember this guy used to drink like a half gallon of whiskey every 3 days. So we're just talking and bullshitting, and out of nowhere he goes, hey, you see Orion's belt? And I was like, no, I don't know what the hell it looks like. And he goes, yeah, up there. He goes, you see Orion's belt? He goes, you see how you see two stars that are straight, very, very parallel to each other, and then there's a little star that's slightly adjacent and off to the left. And I said, yeah, I see it, whatever. And he goes, the bad aliens live on that adjacent star. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And he goes, yeah, no, he goes, I'm serious. He goes, the two stars, that's where the good aliens live. The bad aliens live on that other star. And he said the good aliens look like the traditional grays that we see on in magazines on the internet with the big head, the big eyes. They're really small and gray. He said the bad aliens are brown colored, very tall, and they smell. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, because I didn't really believe in UFOs then. But he goes, I said, if there's really aliens, I said, how do their UFOs, like, how are they able to travel from that star all the way over here? Because, we're dealing with, rocket engines and stuff like that. And he said that the UFOs, they basically run on electricity that's created out of nothing. I think he said space. He goes, they have like it was really, he said it in a confusing way, but he said that the UFOs run on electricity that's gathered up in space.
Space, or dark energy, is responsible for the electric force, while matter, or energy, is responsible for the magnetic force.
And that instead of how a rocket is driven by thrust, by a combustion engine, he says the reason how the UFOs are able to go so fast is that he said that there's an engine on a UFO that opens up a void in space, and it's almost like he said the UFO is not that it's being thrust, but it's falling into itself. I don't know. I'm not sure if I believed him, but he said it pretty matter-of-factly. And he was, super drunk, because this guy, you could not ever have told him anything of a kind. You could never tell, get anything out of him. But then he just goes off and says that, so it could be real.
And that's exactly how the craft works. It creates a distortion right in front of it, and the craft falls forward.
Use the Magnetron. November 5, 2015. The easiest way to get to space is to use the Magnetron, that's right, just like the one in your microwave oven. The Magnetron in your microwave oven operates at about 2.4 GHz. This is good for agitating the molecules in food, but if you increase this, microwave, or electromagnetic vibration, to about 10 GHz, 33 GHz, you can start to manipulate the force of gravity itself. With this, you could surface a large shipping container with magnetrons, at about every 9.5/10 inches and slowly increase the gigahertz, as you get to about 10 GHz, or possibly between 10 and 33 GHz. You will start to create your own gravity. At this point, you open the magnetrons on the top of the spaceship more and, just like matter creates its own gravity, there will be more gravity on the top of the ship than the gravity imposed by Earth, and the ship will fall upwards. You modulate the electromagnetic field around the ship in the direction you would like to fall or travel in, and gravity will fall you into the direction you would like to travel. Also, you can apply a strong field to the entire shipping container and actually reduce the interaction of mass and inertia on the shipping container, moving the weight of the ship out of phase reducing its mass and making it extremely nimble. Able to travel at unimaginable speeds, with little or no gravity within the ship's field, therefore there will be no gravitational pressure within the vessel itself, so fast acceleration, sharp turns and abrupt stops will not affect the ship and crew. Orion Michael Guy.
In the summer of 2014, Lieutenant Graves was based out of Naval Air Station Oceana in Virginia Beach. The pilots wondered if their new radar system was malfunctioning until they saw one of the unidentified objects up close.
Did he give you size, color, texture?
It was basically a cube inside of a sphere where the points of the cube were touching outside of the sphere. It wasn't until someone actually saw one go in between two aircraft at a close range, probably within 150 feet, that it was starting to get worrisome.
With the meager information that has been accumulated over a period of years, astronomers cannot draw too many definite conclusions about Mars. We realize there are probably certain unavoidable errors in our calculations, any one of which could make a big difference as to whether or not there is life as we know it on Mars.
For the past half-century, the intriguing possibility of traveling to Mars in a spaceship has challenged the imagination of many men. Rocket ships of all sizes and shapes have been designed, but most of them rely on an enormous consumption of chemical fuel to escape the pull of the Earth's gravity. A spaceship using an electromagnetic drive to neutralize gravity is the obvious answer. A spaceship using an electromagnetic drive to neutralize gravity is the obvious answer. A spaceship using an electromagnetic drive to neutralize gravity is the obvious answer. A spaceship using an electromagnetic drive to neutralize gravity is the obvious answer.